How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 9 of WWE Headlines, part number 2, right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and no holds barred on anything we say, pun intended. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP. You can follow myself at Real Kyle Masters, and you can follow my co-host at Corporate Cappy on Twitter as well. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram, No Holds Barred WP is where you can find us on there. And if you want to listen to us on the go, Spreaker, iTunes, and Stitcher Radio is where you can find us. Spreaker is a glorious podcast app that's available for all Android and Apple devices. So go give that a download and check out all previous episodes of the podcast. You can chat with us live on the air. It is free to download and free to make an account as well. If you want to watch all video versions of the podcast, youtube.com/NHBWR is where you can find us on there. Hit that subscribe button, that bell icon for all upload updates. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters. And guys, welcome to part number 2 of WWE Headlines right here on the Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. Guys, if you missed part number 1, it is live on the channel right now on YouTube everywhere. It is also available on Stitcher, Spreaker, and iTunes. Like again, I said, Spreaker is a free podcast app. It allows you to chat with us when we're live on the air, when we do the Lowdown Show and other live episodes. You can listen to previous episodes as well, and it's free. It's free to download, free to make a profile. That's all you got to do. And then make sure if you go over to YouTube, and if you're watching the video version of this podcast, hit that subscribe button, that little bell icon right next to it for the upload updates. So, yesterday's episode, we talked about a couple of things. The Jeff Jarrett story, Velveteen Dream shooting on some indie wrestlers, and he also released a tweet later on after I recorded it. I wish I had it for that episode, but I don't know. To me, it seems like it's a work. So we'll see what happens. I'm still thinking it's a work, but it's a really good work if it is. So we'll see. If you are watching the video version of this podcast, you can see my beautiful new T-shirt, the Undisputed Era T-shirt I got last night at the NXT Live event. My voice, it still a little hurts from last night from all the screaming, so bear with me in this episode. It might be a little raspy, or I might have to clear my throat a little bit more. It's still a little... Yeah, you'll see. You'll see what happens. After I talk for a bit, you'll see what happens. But it was such a fantastic show. I got to see Ricochet live. That was like my big thing last night. He faced Buddy Murphy. And these guys actually had the best match of the night, believe it or not. Him and Buddy Murphy put on a really, really good match. Buddy Murphy has really impressed me. He's impressed Corporate Cappy, who, Cappy has his usual feelings about him because of the whole Alexa Bliss thing. But he's really turned his head on Buddy Murphy, and I hope, and if you've seen 205 Live this past week, you've seen what he's all about too, but he had a very excellent match with Ricochet last night. That was match of the night. Some disappointments, though. Undisputed Era wasn't there. I thought they were advertised, but ended up not being there. I guess they ended up being in the NXT Live St. Petersburg live event at the same time. Usually they do one in Florida at the same time whenever they go on the road as well, so they split the talent up. Besides that, I can't really think of any of disappointment. Oh, the women's title match was a little weird. They had Ember Moon versus Nikki Cross versus Aaliyah, who's from Toronto, but they had their turn heel. Basically, Ember Moon won on a roll-up, but she didn't even hit an Eclipse. And I'm thinking it is tying into what happened on Thursday at a live event. I guess Bianca Belair got hurt from the Eclipse. I don't know if they're rethinking that whole finishing move. I'll keep you guys up to date once we hear more things about it. It's definitely not news today. But yeah, it was a really, really good show last night. Really can't say much else. It was just unreal and such a good experience. If you guys have a chance to go check out an NXT Live event, I highly suggest you go do it. They're so much fun. It's entertainment for all the ages too. It's like a typical WWE Live event, but it's more NXT driven. There's this new character they're trying out. I'm guessing he's from the Performance Center. His name was, God, I've been forgetting it all day today. He's like Marcel Bathel or something like that. And he's like this German royalty gimmick. It's almost like Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but like more German in him. And he got a good way to get a lot of the crowd heat on him. He was talking about the Olympic men's hockey team. Team Canada losing to Germany. It is what it is. But he brought that up to get a lot of heat. The one thing that confused me and all of us was Fabian Eichner. When he came out to face him, he was billed from St. Catharines, Ontario. I'm going, since when? Like, is this a way that I guess they did it for a cheap pop because As soon as I looked it up, he wasn't born here. He didn't live here. They just billed him from St. Catharines, Ontario, which is really weird. He's Italian-born. So, I don't know. It was really weird. I think it was a way to get the cheap pop. Didn't really work either. Not a lot of people were cheering for Fabian Eichner, but it is what it is. Really, really good show. I was the only one I think that bought merch. I don't think anyone else got anything else, so I really just wanted the Undisputed Era shirt. If there wasn't there, I wasn't going to get anything else. So, anyways, sidetracking a little bit here. Before we start the show, we have a couple of things to go over. One is, if you're watching a video version of this podcast, I'm going to transition it for you now. If not, if you're listening, just keep a close ear to the headphone or however you're listening it. WrestleRumble.com. They do a WWE Pick'em contest almost every pay-per-view, so go check them out, guys. www.WrestleRumble.com, and you can follow them on Twitter at WrestleRumble. They do a fantastic Rumble Pick'em contest where you can win cash prizes. The prizes are bigger at the Big Four pay-per-view, so you don't want to miss that. And they are also a proud sponsor of Pro Wrestling Tees, another great T-shirt website, so go check out Pro Wrestling Tees if you're into that sort of thing and you want your Bullet Club merch. They are a proud supporter of that Bullet Club merch, so go check them out on there. Like I said before, they have an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view or pick'em this Sunday, so make sure you guys sign up by Sunday, which is tomorrow. First place gets $500 cash. Second place, $100 cash and a shirt from Collar and Elbow. Third to fifth place gets $100, and sixth to 10th place gets a $25 gift card to ProWrestlingTees.com. So really good stuff, guys. You can buy one entry if you want. I believe one entry is $10. 3 entries is $25, and so on and so forth. If you want, if you have more or less confidence, you can choose the way you want to enter this pick'em contest. So go check them out, guys. I'm entering this contest, so you don't want to miss out on this. And speaking of Collar and Elbow, they are also sort of a sponsor of the podcast. Collar and Elbow, guys, the wrestling brand, run by former WWE superstar Al Snow, a different kind of wrestling clothing brand. They support a lot of local wrestlers and local wrestling, so go check them out, www.com, or www.collarandelbowbrand.com, and use the promo code Jumbo. Thank you to, I keep forgetting your Twitter tag, got to write it down. I believe it's JumboRef123 on Twitter. Thank you for the promo code, guys. You can use it too. Use promo code Jumbo at checkout and save 10% on all your orders in every transaction. All you have to do is type in Jumbo on the checkout, and you'll save 10% on your order. And last but not least, our boys at Extreme Wrestling Shirts, WWE.com, or ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. I gotta stop doing that. I'm saying WWE.com. Anyways, these guys specialize in pro wrestling and MMA apparel with over 50,000 t-shirts, sweatshirts, costumes, DVDs, pendants in stock. And that's not even the best part. The best part is free shipping. Yes, I said that right. Free shipping to the U.S. and Canada. If you are somewhere else in the world, though, you'll need to buy 3 items. But once you take a look at this website, you're going to want to buy 8. You're going to want to buy 10. You're going to buy 20 things. And then shipping will be free. So, guys, go check them out. Save on the taxes. Save on all the duty. And save on everything WWE Shop throws at you by going to ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com and save on shipping mostly and get it free shipped to your house. Other than that, I believe that's it for that. Yes, I just got to get the thing back on for you guys on the video. There we go. I could do some editing and do it myself after, but I like doing it this way. Just the way I am. Anyways, guys, let's get into the news. We got a huge story, which is the center point of today's news, which I'm going to start off with, and we got some more news after that, but it's about Roman Reigns, and I'm sure everyone's heard it so far. So I'll read the article, and I'll give you guys my opinion on it. But Roman Reigns may be in some hot water. Roman Reigns is involved in some serious steroid allegations, and things look like it might get worse for the WWE and other major sports in general before all is said and done. As previously reported, filmmaker John Bravo, or Johnny Bravo for you Johnny Bravo fans, if you guys want to call him that, said that he has conclusive evidence now that Roman Reigns purchased steroids from convicted dealer Richard Rodriguez, and that he's about to release the evidence that proves the WWE superstar is lying when claiming he doesn't know Rodriguez and never bought the performance-enhancing drugs. However, in a new interview with Wrestling Inc., Bravo explains that there are as many as 15 former and present WWE superstars other than Roman that have used Rodriguez to purchase steroids. So this is not even just Roman Reigns that's in hot water. This is like this a couple of former WWE people and some current WWE superstars besides Roman Reigns. So there's a lot of jeopardy at stake here. So Let me read the rest of the article for you guys. The alleged proof against the WWE star. So according to John Bravo, who has conducted numerous interviews with Richard Rodriguez about his former clients, he has gathered a lot of evidence against a lot of people, including Roman Reigns. Bravo claims that he has detailed proof of the individual in question. In fact, pictures / videos of him ordering these steroids from Rodriguez. So there's actually picture and video of Reigns doing it. So that's something. When asked why he specifically targeted Roman Reigns when there are at least 14 other names he could have called out, Bravo said it was because Reigns spoke out and publicly denied he had anything to do with the allegations. It is also the same reason that Bravo has targeted Mark Wahlberg and Josh Duhamel. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. Anyways, so basically Roman Reigns is basically the one that got himself into this mess. I guess John Bravo probably wouldn't have said anything or targeted him specifically if it wasn't for Roman Reigns coming out and denying it. So, Roman, man, you better brace yourself for the shit fan that's about to go. As a result, for the denials from Roman Reigns and a pair of Hollywood superstars, Bravo has initially targeted these three men when it comes to eventually releasing the evidence against them. He said he did due diligence and made sure all the evidence is conclusive and legitimate before releasing it. So not only is this guy just teasing that he's going to release stuff about Roman Reigns, he's actually saying that he's going to review it and make sure that it's conclusive and legitimate. Oh, God, Vince, you better hold on if this stuff comes out and it's true, because you're screwed if it is. He said that this documentary is only part of it, and he wants to release all the information to the public about everyone involved, which is good. I think they should do that. You don't want to. This is basically cheating, right? You want to call out the cheaters here. This case is more than just about Roman Reigns and WWE. According to Bravo, this is not just about Roman Reigns and WWE. The filmmaker also said that this is not just to call out the WWE and specific wrestlers and actors, but instead it is a way to use big names involved to send a message to the public about how widespread this epidemic is. Bravo also said that he has specific records of Roman Reigns' phone calls to Richard Rodriguez, proving that he lied about not knowing the convicted steroid dealer. He also says he has text messages that he'll release everything early next week. Oh boy, is WWE's main event at WrestleMania in trouble early next week? I bet you he releases it Monday Night Raw. Probably either during Raw or before. I guarantee he releases it then. Anyways, John Bravo also said that this isn't just Roman Reigns in the WWE, but he also has evidence implicating stars in the UFC, NBA, and NFL as well. He said that this is a really big case. Once he delivers the evidence on the big names, he won't have to worry about providing too much more on individuals or WWE superstars after he makes his point. Filmmaker John Bravo has posted in his latest video in the following description of his latest video. The evidence of the orders and phone records of Josh Duhamel and the upcoming Roman Reigns. As the former owner of Iron Addicts Gym Miami and WFN, Roderick Rodriguez discusses the evidence presented on Roman Reigns, Mark Wahlberg, and Duhamel live from federal prison. During an interview, Rodriguez talked about the WWE wellness policy and how wrestlers can be taking substances and still pass the tests, a.k.a. Jinder Mahal. Ring any bells, guys? Here's what Rodriguez said about how wrestlers and celebrities look. Those kinds of physiques are never achievable without drugs. You cannot walk around with 250 pounds plus and 4% body fat without using controlled substances. Bravo noted that Reigns' evidence would be revealed in the next video. Now, as for Roman Reigns, I don't know what that's all about. The guy's really not that big. He's like, he has a good physique, but he's not like, there wasn't like a drastic change in Roman Reigns in like a year, unlike other superstars. Jinder Mahal. I guarantee you that Jinder's part of this. How much do you want to make a bet that Jinder Mahal is part of this list? I guarantee, I'm betting my bottom dollar right now that Jinder Mahal is on that list. But anyways, that's the end of the article, guys. Let's get into my opinion. If Roman Reigns does, if the evidence comes out and proves that Roman Reigns has taken steroids and he's bought in steroids in the last year, and he's got to be suspended for 60 days. There's no loophole. There's nothing they can do here. If they don't do anything, you're going to see some serious backlash, not only from the fans, not only from the internet community. You're probably going to see some backlash from the people backstage who never touch a steroid and are working their asses off to get to that Roman Reigns level, but they can't. But they're just going to let Roman Reigns fly in, get massively pushed without any hard work, and then able to take steroids and be clean, or be scot-free clean after. No, it's not going to happen like that. There will be some serious backlash if they don't do anything about this, if this evidence does come out and be true. Now, what does that mean for the WrestleMania main event? If Roman Reigns is suspended, he will be suspended through WrestleMania. So that means all the plans that they've built for the last year for this WrestleMania big crowning, like the third crowning or whatever of Roman Reigns, literally will be thrown out the window. You're going to have to redo everything and have it in 4 weeks. To me, at this point, you don't have at this point, if they're going to have this happen to them and they're literally, maybe Brock Lesnar's even part of it, that's scary. If Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are both on that list and they have to suspend both those guys, my God, what are they going to do with that Universal title? They're going to have Brock show up and drop the title and just have like a title match at WrestleMania for a vacant championship. They could probably do that. I don't know how I would do it. Okay, let's just put this scenario. If both those guys, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, are out of the main event of WrestleMania, obviously you're going to pick Seth Rollins. The guy, his showing on Monday Night Raw this past week just tells you that this guy's ready to be back in that main event level. Now, who does he face? Braun Strowman? You can put Braun Strowman in that match. You can put Seth Rollins in that match. You can have the other guys in the chamber. Maybe all the guys in the chamber have a fatal, a six-man battle royale for it. I don't know. It's weird. I know the bottom line is it won't be the main event of WrestleMania. If Brock and Roman are out of it, or even just one, maybe it's just Roman, it won't be the main event. If Brock's going into WrestleMania clean and he's not part of this story, don't think the Universal title will be the main event of WrestleMania 34. It won't. They're probably going to put AJ Styles and Nakamura on last, or if Cena and Taker actually have a match, that'll be the last match of the card. But I guarantee you, if something happens here, Roman and Brock won't be going on last. If that's even the direction they're going, which, I mean, I can't really say they're not going in the direction. Who can sit there and tell me? No one can sit there and tell me that they're not going in that direction. They've had this direction since last year. Even probably at this point last year, they knew what this year's main event was going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens early next week. Again, I'm guessing Monday, some point during the day, or even maybe during Raw, is when he's going to release it. And God, if it's true, Roman's in deep, deep shit. That's all I got to say about that. But let me know what you guys think out there. Drop a comment down on YouTube or tweet at us at NoHoldsBarred WP, or you can tweet at myself at RealKyleMasters. I'll answer you guys once I hear your predictions, your reactions to that. Second bit of news, is Rollins penciled in? Speaking of WrestleMania, is Rollins penciled in to be added to the Lesnar and Roman match at WrestleMania 34? Roman Reigns winning this Sunday's Elimination Chamber match to set up a showdown with Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship of WrestleMania 34 is probably the worst kept secret in all of wrestling. In fact, it's been over a year since the rumors of the Big Dog's coronation as the ultimate slayer to the Beast incarnate at the Granddaddy of them all has all swept through the internet, drawing mostly negative reactions from wrestling fans who are simply tired of WWE pushing their chosen one down their throats. So, as expected, anti-Roman wrestling smarks are all praying for big old Vince McMahon to swerve this Sunday. The Monster of Men Braun Strowman is looking like a strong dark horse contender leading up to the Elimination Chamber after wreaking havoc over the past week. Then there's Seth Rollins, who has recently catapulted himself back into the title picture following his MVP performance in the 7-man gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw this week. Rollins has been previously penciled to work with a tag team partner, Jason Jordan, in what would have been an underwhelming program on Mania. However, with Kurt Sun on the shelf with a neck injury, Rollins finally got the green light to live up to his Monday Night Rollins hype. The Kingslayer's back-to-back pins on Reigns and Cena in over an hour, hitting curb stomps on Reigns and countering Cena with his own finisher with the Attitude Adjustment. With Rollins' hot performance, or will Rollins' hot performance be enough? Oops, I skipped all the way down. My bad. Oh, God, I went far. There we go. Will Rollins' hot performance be enough to convince WWE Creative to add him to the main event of this year's WrestleMania? Adam Pacitti of pro wrestling site Cultaholic thinks so. So again, This is not news. This is just someone's perspective on it, so take it with a grain of salt. But I put it on here because it's interesting, and a lot of people have predicted shit in the past, so we'll see what this guy's got to say. Despite Reigns being the clear-cut favorite, Pacitti bucked the trend and picked Rollins to win the Chamber match, setting up a triple threat match with the two rumored participants. He pointed out that the WWE currently has no WrestleMania program in store for one of their top stars on the roster after injuries to Dean Ambrose and Jason Jordan, and the particular situation creates the opening for Rollins to slide his way into the WWE Universal title picture. Pacitti might be just shooting for the moon here, but the idea of adding Rollins to the title card would definitely create some intrigue and more storytelling depth to an already stale matchup between Reigns and Lesnar. Now, that's 100% true. If you're thinking out there that Reigns and Lesnar will still actually be good, regardless if anyone gets added to the match, then you're crazy. You want to see how good it's going to be, go rewatch 31. Go all the way up to the part where Rollins comes out and tell me that's not going to be, it's going to be an exciting match. Because it's not. We're literally getting a rematch from that match. You're telling me that you're going to see something different in that match? You'll probably see one or two things different, but does that qualify to have it in the main event again, have another coronation? Come on. Give me a break. These guys don't need to be in the main event alone together. It's, again, what this article says, it's stale as shit. No one wants to see it. No one on the internet wants to see it. I don't remember this much hate on this match, or this kind of match back then. And Roman was still getting booed back then. Let's be real here. Roughly 4 years ago, Reigns and Lesnar collided in the main event of WrestleMania 31. It was supposed to be Reigns' introduction into the top man in the WWE, but Rollins stole the spotlight by pulling off what many wrestling pundits consider the greatest Money in the Bank briefcase cash-in in the promotion's history. So, I like the idea of Rollins being added to this match. Again, it makes it less stale. I can see him, and there was a prediction I read on yesterday's podcast that he goes in as a babyface. He wins the championship at WrestleMania again. Just keeping that boost on Seth Rollins right now. And then on the next night on Raw, you have Reigns finally turn on Seth Rollins. And he's the one that turns on Rollins. Turns heel, and then they set up a 3-month program leading up to SummerSlam this year. And that's where you can crown Reigns. I think that makes a lot more sense, and it'll do a lot more justice for this build rather than just give us the obvious, predictable crowning of Roman Reigns at this year's WrestleMania. So, let me know what you guys think out there. Would you add Seth Rollins to the triple threat match, and how would you book it? So let me know down in the comments on YouTube, or tweet at me at NoHoldsBarredWP. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze there for a sec. AJ Styles' major plans after WrestleMania 34. So we got some news about that. Last year, AJ Styles defeated Shane McMahon in the opening match of WrestleMania 33. A lot of fans were unhappy about the Phenomenal One being forced into a feud with a non-wrestler and believed he deserved better. I was one of those people, if you guys remember. If Styles can get through the fatal 5-way match at WWE Fastlane, he'll walk into New Orleans at WrestleMania 34 as the WWE Champion and defend the title in a huge match against Shinsuke Nakamura, which should be left alone. Do not touch this match. Do not add anyone to this match. Do not add a special referee. Leave it alone. Leave it as the dream match everyone wants to see. You do not touch it. Don't touch it. Don't put it in the beginning of the show. Don't put it in the second part of the show or the second match. Leave it. Make it one of the co-main events. Do not touch it. You don't have to do anything to this match. It writes itself. The universe will be a lot happier with AJ Styles' match on the card for the grandest stage in the mall this year. However, the expectation is Nakamura will be winning the WWE title because WWE officials are planning something big for the Phenomenal One after WrestleMania. According to Cage Side Seats, Styles will be switching brands from SmackDown Live to Monday Night Raw after the grandest stage of them all. That is interesting. So, if they do switch him brands, are we going to get an interaction with the club? I think this is probably going to set up Balor and Styles again. We said that this. I remember them touting that this was the last time we saw Styles and Finn Balor in the same ring together fighting for each other. I think this could set up a build for the club leader, like Finn Balor and AJ Styles fighting over the leadership of the club, and then it could culminate at the next pay-per-view. It could culminate at SummerSlam. I'd have it a long build and build all the way to SummerSlam. Have these guys have a couple matches with each other and have the big match at SummerSlam, like a rubber match or what have you. It was rumored that WWE officials have wanted to move him to Raw since last year's WrestleMania. His move has been a topic of conversation for the WWE Universe ever since, but it seems that he could actually switch brands after dropping the WWE Championship to Shinsuke Nakamura. Styles will be only one of the many WWE superstars to make the move, but the belief is that AJ would be featured as a top guy on Raw. After the WWE draft, AJ was a pivotal point in reestablishing SmackDown Live as its own brand. He has done 2 years of great work building the brand as a top babyface, but WWE officials feel it's time to have him on another run on Monday Night Raw in 2018. It is unclear what Raw's roster will look like after WrestleMania 34, but Styles should have several fresh matchups and feuds to be part of, and a few new titles to capture this year. Excuse me. There's that sneeze. I was worrying for that. Excuse me. For instance, WWE Universal Championship should remain on Raw, and the Intercontinental title will likely be staying put as well. Oh, God. I might edit that out. Man. AJ Styles will have several new opponents to wrestle and could work with Kurt Angle inside a WWE ring. For now, the WWE Universe should be ecstatic. Oh, God. I was going to sneeze again. I mean, attack, right? Recording this is great. About the creative plans for the Phenomenal One heading into WrestleMania 34, but Styles will have plenty to keep him busy after the draft is done. So, very interesting. So, plans are for him to switch brands after WrestleMania 34, after facing Shinsuke Nakamura and dropping the title to him. That would be great. If they're going to bring him over to Raw, I suggest you keep Finn Balor on Raw and you do what I just did, or the story I just said in building a feud of who the leader of the club is. It's almost like it's portraying what's actually happening in the Bullet Club right now. It's a good gesture that WWE can do something maybe even better. I don't give the main roster credit for doing anything good, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I agree. A fresh start for AJ Styles. Come over to Raw, have some feuds with people. Like, you can have good matches with Elias. Looking at Elias, you can have good matches with. If Cena's still kicking around, they can do another thing. Again, Finn Balor. They can do something with Roman again. I mean, there's just a lot of matches that are there. Seth Rollins, that we can see some new, fresh matches for AJ Styles. So I'm going to guess that this is 100% true, so we'll see what happens when the draft does come. Big injury update on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy has been out of action in WWE since he tore his rotator cuff in September of 2017. It has only been 6 months since Jeff made his WWE return with brother Matt Hardy and has been at home recovering from his injury. However, there is some huge news concerning a Jeff Hardy return. PW Insider reported that Hardy made a trip to Birmingham, Alabama for an evaluation on the status of his injury, or his shoulder injury, and to get an update on when he can start working on his big WWE return. Currently, Matt Hardy is working as Woken Matt Hardy, and Jeff is expected to be a part of that upon his return. So we're going to get the return of Brother Nero when Jeff Hardy comes back, which is great. I told Cap, you can already see it's like a video of Matt Hardy at the Hardy compound in the Lake of Rejuvenation, whatever he calls it, and he just pulls Jeff Hardy out of it, being like rejuvenated from his injury. I can see that happening, and I hope it does happen. I think Jeff Hardy can do a lot for that that whole Woken gimmick. Jeff Hardy's WWE inquiry. The Jeff Hardy injury took place in a match in October 2017 when he was wrestling in a six-pack challenge. According to WWE, the injury took place on the September 17th edition of Monday Night Raw when Jeff and Matt Hardy took on Jason Jordan, Elias, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. The winner got a shot at Miz and his Intercontinental Championship. The injury happened when Jeff Hardy hit his Poetry in Motion move against Elias Sampson and happened to fall the wrong way. Jeff finished the match that Jason Jordan ended up winning. Hardy then underwent surgery on October 3rd when he learned that he tore his rotator cuff and his labrum and had a labrum tear. At the time, Jeff Hardy mentioned that he could return without wrestling, maybe working with Matt Hardy. However, he never returned, or he never returned and has been out 5 months now. So at the time when he did injure, he said that he can still work with Matt Hardy, but they chose not to. Maybe they chose for him to stay at home and recover his injury, because when he comes back, they want him to be 100% healthy and get some matches in with the Broken Hardys gimmick, because both of them wrestle at the same time. So I think that was a smarter decision. At the time of his injury, Jeff Hardy told WWE.com that he was considering things he could do in the ring that were not quite so extreme, so that he could try to extend his career without risking further injuries. That's pretty tough for a guy like Jeff Hardy. However, he has to get back into the WWE first. The initial timetable for Jeff Hardy's WWE return from the injury was 4 to 6 months. He has been out for 5. It's been just over 4 since he underwent surgery. That could explain the timing of his visit to Birmingham, Alabama to check in. There is a good chance that Hardy will make his WWE return this spring, but chances of him getting back before this year's WrestleMania are very slim. Until then, WWE is actively working on a brand new DVD for Matt and Jeff that is also set to hit stores in the spring. Now, to me, it's tough. You can do both ways. You can have Jeff Hardy come back before WrestleMania 34, but you're obviously not going to have him in a match. You can have him come back and do the Brother Nero thing. They can shoot promo videos. They don't necessarily have to have him there on Monday Night Raw, but you can start shooting stuff for his big return. Or you can keep it a secret and have Matt Hardy show up maybe on the Raw after WrestleMania and have him bring out Brother Nero, or a couple weeks down the line, maybe at the Backlash pay-per-view. But I would go either way. You guys let me know what you guys would do with Jeff Hardy upon his return. I know a lot of you would probably say Brother Nero, obviously, but how would you bring him back? Would you bring him back before WrestleMania 34 in a promo, less physical activity role, or would you just keep him out and do maybe a surprise factor later down the line and wait till he's 100% healthy to wrestle in the ring? So you guys let me know out there. Next bit of news. The original plans for the number of pay-per-view events when the brand split was brought back in 2016. So the big news in WWE over the past few weeks is the company is moving forward and going away from single-branded pay-per-views. Both Raw and SmackDown Live will now be combined for one event a month for a total of 12 in a new schedule. We have some details to share on the original plans of the number of pay-per-view events that were supposed to happen when the brand split first announced back in 2016. In the latest Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer says that WWE originally planned on running 20 events a year. Oh boy, the original idea behind it was them putting on more shows would hopefully lead to more network subscribers. Yeah, right. So that's really what they thought. They're like, oh, maybe if we have more pay-per-views, we'll have more network subscribers. No. Now you have problems selling those arenas and getting more subscribers because you know why? The product is garbage. Garbage product equals no ratings, no subscribers, and no fans coming to your arenas. That simple. Fans would feel as if they were getting more value for their monthly subscription with many of those events. That's not what they thought, but it's not what they think. WWE eventually realized that they were spending more money because this is not bringing enough value in return. Well, duh. I think anyone could have told you that. This was first dropped to 18 later and moved to 16 per year, which was the number of events that happened in 2017 total. So now they're just going back to single-branded pay-per-views. God, it's gonna be moved to just 4, the big 4 now. After that, they can't figure out why. If the product continues to be garbage and people are even less going to the dual branded ones, you're gonna be in some big trouble. I guarantee WWE would contemplate on just doing big 4 pay-per-views, just having one pay-per-view: WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series. That's all they would do. But to me, it's the product itself. If you have a garbage product, you're gonna have attendance slopes, you're going to have subscriptions down because no one wants to watch it. No one wants to subscribe to the network and watch the product because they watch it on Raw and SmackDown and they're just like, this is garbage. Why would I want to watch the pay-per-view? It's like me this Sunday. I'm going to miss half the pay-per-view, but am I pissed off about it? No, because the product has been garbage, so I don't care. So it's really easy to figure this out. I don't know how they don't see it, or they see it, but they actually think it's not the answer when it is. So that is what it is. Let me know what you guys think out there. Next bit of news, it's not really news, is a speculation article from the publisher IW Nerd on Twitter. So this is their perspective. So this is not news. This is not credible information. It's just their perspective. And I thought it was pretty interesting. And it's what I thought is going to happen. This is speculation what will happen to Johnny Gargano going forward. And they basically said what I said. So I'm going to read it to you guys. If you're a weekly watcher of NXT, and I don't know if you're not because you should, you know that Johnny Gargano recently lost a career versus title match to Andrade Cien Almas. As a result, Gargano is now finished with NXT. Gargano signed a termination of service agreement with NXT General Manager William Regal. Gargano will be wrestling in the upcoming live events, which we saw him last night. Great match, by the way, for NXT to fulfill his commitments. Still, a major question remains about what is next for him. Let's speculate a little bit. Now, this is from the publisher. He says, I have seen some people suggesting that Gargano is heading up to 205 Live or the WWE main roster. I really don't think that will be the case. I 100% agree with you. You guys that think he's going to be right to the main roster right now, you're wrong. You got to think the bigger picture here. The Gargano and Ciampa storyline is one of the best in NXT history. I think for that reason, we will be getting some sort of conclusion at the NXT TakeOver event. With Gargano now gone from NXT, how do we get there? Here is my theory. I think we'll be seeing Gargano jump the guardrail at some point and attack Ciampa during an episode of NXT, just like I said in the Lowdown show. So this guy's got a great mind like me, just saying. We got the self-proclaimed greatest minds. So shout out to you, guy, the guy that runs IW Nerd, man. Ciampa and Gargano will proceed to beat the hell out of one another all over the arena. Eventually, William Regal will get fed up and make a non-sanctioned match between them at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. So someone else that agrees with me about the non-sanctioned match. Thank you. Thank you, IW Nerd. Thank you. A responsibility for what they do to one another. I think this will fit it perfectly here. The stipulation would also include if Gargano wins, he's allowed back into NXT or something like that. I think a rivalry like Ciampa and Gargano deserves a stipulation like this after everything that has happened between them. It seems like Triple H is a fan of the non-sanctioned match since he faced Seth Rollins and won several months ago at WrestleMania 33. Gargano versus Ciampa in a non-sanctioned match at TakeOver New Orleans is my guess. And I agree with them, guys. If you guys watch the Lowdown show every week, you've heard the last couple of weeks my predictions for this conclusion of Gargano and Ciampa. I think it's going to be unsanctioned. It just makes sense for these guys and to end the story right there. Or you don't have to end the story. You can have this drag on. I've actually heard from our buddy JD that he thinks that maybe, or he had people tell him that maybe Candice LeRae and Selena Vega face each other at TakeOver New Orleans. And it's a way for Candice LeRae to win Johnny's job back. He gets his job back, and they keep building that, and they have the big end-off at TakeOver Brooklyn 4, which would be really great. I think the payoff for that would be huge, and it'll be an end of a great storyline. You can keep building it, keep adding fuel to the fire. I think I like that idea, but I also like the idea, and I'm going to stick to my prediction of Ciampa and Gargano in a non-sanctioned match at TakeOver New Orleans. This is going to be nuts. It sucks about the whole New Orleans commission thing about banning blood and pile drivers, and not necessarily these guys are going to do a pile driver, but if there was blood in a non-sanctioned match, WWE could get in serious shit if it happens in this type of match. So maybe they'll hold off on it. Maybe they'll do the LeRae versus Vega thing. So we'll see what happens. But you guys let me know out there what you think or what you would do with Johnny Gargano going forward. Would you guys agree with the non-sanctioned match, or do you guys have a different opinion on how they should do it? So let me know down in the comments on YouTube or at No Holds Barred WP on Twitter. Last but not least, a little bit of news here. The Dusty Rhodes Classic, the Tag Team Classic bracket has been revealed. I had it up here, and I closed it, but it's been revealed, and it looks interesting. One thing I want to point out in this bracket is there's no, there could be room for a surprise team, because I honestly thought that War Machine would be in this tournament. And it does leave room that there could be a spot opening up on that. I mean, one of these teams could get attacked backstage, and they'll need a replacement, and a team will go out and be like, all right, who's going to face us here? And then there out comes a War Machine. So if they're going to be even called a War Machine, which is something interesting. I don't know if they're going to be called War Machine or not. I read there was a report saying that they were going to be called something else. I really don't remember. But that, I mean, Corporate Cappy did pick War Machine back when we were making our predictions for, I think it was actually this past show. And I don't doubt his pick. I think for sure that there's going to be something happening. Maybe Authors of Pain get kicked out. Maybe someone jumps Authors of Pain. Maybe someone jumps Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. But I'm going to stick with Street Profits. I think our pal Michael Chow tweeted out what would be our pick for that Dusty Rhodes Classic. I'm sticking with Dusty. I'm sticking with the Street Profits. I think it's time for them to get a big win here. I don't want to have them be the team to be so hype in NXT and not get a championship title around their waist. And the last team to do that, if you guys remember, that was Enzo and Cass. They were so over in NXT, And they never really got their title shots, but they never won the championships, if you remember. They're so close. And I think everyone wanted them to win the championships eventually, and they never did, and then they got called up. I don't want that to happen to the Street Profits. I really want them to actually pull through and go all the way, but they have a huge match, to say the least, in their first round matchup. They're facing off against Heavy Machinery. So if you guys are watching the YouTube version of this podcast, take a look at the screen. That's the Dusty Rhodes Classic tournament bracket. You have Street Profits versus Heavy Machinery in the round 1. You have TM61 versus Authors of Pain. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Mustache Mountain. I can't say the word. And Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss against Sandy. That's the interesting one. I think that's probably going to be the team to not be in this tournament because there's a lot of heat between those two. I think something's going to happen. Maybe Tito or Riddick walks out backstage, and then they automatically get disqualified. And there needs to be a team to face Sanity, and out comes War Machine to face Sanity. I think that's something huge that could happen, and I'm going to go ahead and predict that to happen on this Dusty Rhodes Classic. So that's the Dusty Rhodes Classic, guys. I'm pulling for my boys, the Street Profits. I'd love to see a Street Profits TM61 to see it in the semifinals there, but I wouldn't doubt if Authors of Pain were able to find their way through. But that would just be a burial of TM61, I think. They just brought these guys back. They did the whole hype videos for them. So I'm going to guess that they're going to be the ones to pull through in that match. And as for the Owens, again, I think something happens to Tito and Riddick Moss, and then we get the War Machine debut. They'll probably beat Sanity, and then I'm going to guess Mustache Mountain wins against Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, and they have to go against War Machine. And War Machine will probably be in the finals, and it could go against the Street Profits, or maybe they even make Heavy Machinery go all the way through, and it's going to be Heavy Machinery against War Machine, like the two giant machines clashing against each other at the finals, and the winner gets a tag team title match against our Undisputed Era at TakeOver New Orleans. So very, very interesting there. I can't wait for the Dusty Rhodes Classic to start. It was very interesting last time it happened. There were some made-up teams last time, and then this time around it's all legit tag teams in NXT. So that'll be something to see. But as for that, guys, that's all the news I got for today, so thank you for listening in. I'm just going to go over the sponsors one more time. Again, WrestleRumble.com. Guys, go check them out. They have an awesome pick'em contest for you guys. They also they're doing an Elimination Chamber one this Sunday, so you guys don't want to miss that. First place is $500 cash. Second place, $100 cash and a shirt from Collar and Neville Wrestling brand. Third to fifth place, $100, and sixth to 10th place, $25 gift card to Pro Wrestling Tees. Again, Collar and Elbow wrestling brand t-shirt, guys. They're owned by Al Snow. Great wrestling shirt company, and they also have sweatshirts. I heard they're really, really comfortable. www.collarandelbowbrand.com. Use the promo code Jumbo. So thank you to Jumbo Ref123 on Twitter for giving us the promo code and letting us use it. And guys, you can use it too, and you can save 10% on your checkout. And guys, lastly but not least, go check out Extreme Wrestling Shirts. www.extremewrestlingshirts.com. They specialize in pro wrestling and MMA apparel with over 50,000 t-shirts, sweatshirts, costumes, DVDs, pendants, all in stock with free shipping to the U.S. and Canada. And if you are around the world, you have to buy 3 items first, and then shipping is free. So go check them out, ladies and gentlemen. So as for that is going to wrap it up here for episode number 9 of WWE Headlines, part number 2, right here on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. Look out for part number 3 tomorrow. I got some news with that, so there's going to be 3 parts this weekend. And enjoy Elimination Chamber tomorrow, guys. But thank you for listening to No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast that talks about the WWE and No Holds Barred and anything we say. Pun intended. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP, myself at Real Kyle Masters, and my co-host at Corporate Cappy. You can listen to us on the go, Spreaker, iTunes, and Stitcher Radio. Spreaker is a glorious podcast app. It's free to download for all Android and Apple devices. You can chat with us live on the air and listen to all previous episodes of the podcast. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/NHBWRs, where you can find all video versions of the podcast. 2K content and all unboxings are all on there. So hit that subscribe button and that bell icon for all upload updates. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host as always, and I'll see you tomorrow for part number 3.